I had an audition. And in the audition, it was for Usher, and he was in the room. And it was like, wow, this was like a dream come true. It was just me auditioning, me, the choreographer, and Usher. And I don't think I've ever told this story like publicly before. So you're like, you're hearing this for the first time. This is a very right. This is a very personal story. It's very personal. Yeah. So I'm in the room and Usher's sitting there and he's like, what song do you want me to play? All he wanted was to watch me dance and freestyle. And as a dancer, you know, for a freestyle dancer, that's your dream. That's all you want, is to be able to just be yourself, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I froze. I said, oh, Michael Jackson? I think he played, I don't even remember what song he played. I was so not grounded in who I am, but I had been training. You know, I had been doing all this training and freestyle and this and that sessions, and which is great. But I wasn't grounded in myself, so I just went and I just did moves. You know, as we know, as dancers, I was just doing moves to a beat. But there was no soul attached to it. There was no, I can't even remember how I felt during it, except for the fact that I was like, oh my God. And then I was, they were like, oh yeah, rehearsals are next week. So in my mind, I'm like, yeah, cool. I'm going to dance for Usher. No, definitely did not get called back. And it hurt. It hurt because all they asked me to do was to be myself. And I knew I didn't know myself. And I knew I did not give myself that opportunity. I couldn't blame it on anybody except for me in that moment. And that was a huge turning point for me because from that moment on, I swore to myself, I promised myself that I would never allow that to happen to me again. And so I was in every freestyle situation I could be in. I was in classes. I was in all type. I did a program called Motivating Excellence. I was immersed myself in myself so much that forced me to kind of find myself from there. So, you know, sometimes you got to lose. You got to take the L to really understand what you need. And that was a huge turning point for me because after that, like I said, I started to understand who I was more. And then I started to become a little bit more particular in even the jobs that I would go for and what type of dance I would do.
So would it be fair to say that you found or took more ownership of yourself after overcoming your failures? Yeah.
I had to. You know, again, it was, especially not once I was in LA, it was like, yo, if I don't make it out here, there's no other option. You know, I have to make it. So
what kept you? What helped you recover from that kind of incident? Because was it traumatic for a while? Because you know you're dancing one-on-one pretty much with a celebrity or a star.
Yeah.
Were you starstruck? Did it introduce like toxic thoughts into your head and you had to fight it? Like how did you get past that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I cried. I think it was like my dream, you know, was within grasp. It was like right here. It was right there. And I touched it. I literally touched him. I touched Usher. And at the time, that was one of my biggest, that was like the biggest opportunity that I had for a major star that was influential in my childhood, in my upbringing. And here I was, I go back to like this girl from like Queens who didn't come up in a dance studio and all that. Here I have this opportunity to dance with this artist. Wow. And then it just went away. And again, I didn't have anyone else to blame but myself. A lot of times we're like, oh, I wasn't tall enough, or oh, the choreographer picked their friend. You know, we try to like justify why things happen. And thankfully, I've always been very like aware of like, no, this was me. Like I did something here that I can't blame anyone else for. So yeah, it was such a heartbreaking moment. And then to go on and see the show that I had auditioned for and then the tour and all that kind of happened. It was like, it stung. It stung a lot because it was bigger than just a job. It was an opportunity and also an opportunity to validate who I was in front of my family and say, hey guys, I'm doing something of value. Like I'm doing something over here. So all of that, it was bigger. It was bigger, and it was heartbreaking.
I love your story. Thanks for sharing it. It's very humanizing because I think it's very easy to be on the outside, whether it's like seeing someone on TV or reading about somebody and assume that their successes were given to them or their successes came easy or this person has never encountered a failure. But I often find the true champions are the ones who constantly walk into failure but are able to also walk out of it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.